Welcome back, everyone. This is JAG, aka Leonidas, coming at you live from the 300 Clash Royale clan. This video is going to be covering the Rascals and how to effectively use them for your deck. So, essentially, if you want to use them, which they're good cards. They just dropped just after this challenge, and I just want to show you guys how to effectively use them. So, here's how I'm going to show one replay, maybe two, and it's going to be short, sweet, and get to the point. Alright. So let's start this. So as you know, the challenge was a draft with the Rascals, and they were actually pretty strong cards. So as you see, I'm going to pick them over the Giant, and actually in the second video, if I do it as well, I'm also going to pick them over the Giant. So we're going to just go through this quick. The nice thing about drafts is it's not only picking what's best for your deck, but it's also picking what's not good for the other person's deck. And if you do that effectively, it really gives you a huge advantage. So, getting into this, we're just going to do a quick little analysis here. What you're going to see at one point is that the whole way to effectively use the Rascals, in my opinion, is to use them as a counter push. So, essentially, use them as defense and then counter push with them, and then provide in some support troops either in the back end or an offensive troop in the front. So, for example, you're going to see at one point a troop come out here this way. Can't remember exactly what it was that was used, but then I'm going to defend with the Rascals. And you're going to see the two gals at the back, which are essentially archers, since they attack both the ground and the air indiscriminately, which means either. And then I'm going to use them to defend and then counter push back this way. So what you're going to see is them come out here, and then I'm going to drop my graveyard. Yes. I'm going to drop my graveyard, which is going to be all around here, and I'm going to use the big guy as a tank. So that's essentially what you want to do. You want to use them as defense, counter push back, drop some support troops either in behind, or use an offensive troop like the graveyard up at the front, which will then be able to attack the tower while your Rascals then tank for them. Because they're essentially a mini tank. So let's get into this and you'll see what I mean. Alright. Alright, so I dropped the arrows there just to take out that princess. And right now I didn't have too many as far as cards go, so I wanted to drop those Rascals in front, kind of tank for my archers in behind. As you saw, I got about almost 300 damage points on that tower. So then with the wizard there, or the electro wizard there, I'm going to drop in some bats just to kind of protect my tower, and then drop the Hog Rider up the front, because I kind of knew at that point that he didn't really have, based on the draft itself, too many cards that were defensive and a lot of high elixir cards. And since I knew that he kind of wasted a lot of elixir, at least with the zap, and didn't have too much, I tried to drop my graveyard to do quite a bit of damage, and I was able to get a little bit at least. So now, on the defense, I'm going to, unfortunately, because I did do a little bit too much elixir, I'm going to take a bit more damage. I dropped the Magic Archer, does a bit of damage, take out that dragon, drop the bats in behind. Unfortunately, he misses with the freeze, but I tried to spread out the bats and the Magic Archer because of the draft. I knew he was going to drop a freeze, so I spread them out just in case he did, and it worked out. So now you're going to see a little bit of counter push as well, with the Hog coming in. Hog's great for a counter push, and now that Magic Archer does what he does best. He takes out the Wiz and hits the tower at the same time. So what you're going to see now is I'm just going to let him hang, let the elixir build up, let it on that side, and kind of see maybe what he's going to do. Or, since I get to the point where I'm almost using all of it, I'm just going to drop some archers down, have them go on either side, kind of effectively defend and see what he does. So at this point, the Lava Hound drops. I'm like, okay, I can do an offensive push, get him to waste elixir. So what I do is I drop the Rascals, and we're going to pause it actually right here, and you're going to see them tank that archer tower, or well, that tower essentially, that non-main crown tower is going to be tanking and taking out that big guy there. And when that graveyard drops, it's going to do a whole bunch of damage. So we're going to let that pause. They're going to do damage, take out that giant, and as you saw, I got mad damage on that tower. So it worked out perfectly. They worked not only as a counter defense to the giant, but actually also was able to use them as a tank. And that's, honestly, I can't ask for more than that. So here now it's just defending at that point. I'm going to take a bit of damage. Not too bad though. Already have one down. Going to use the Rascals as defense there. Didn't really have too much option otherwise. And then this is where I'm going to drop in a Hog. Take a bit of that damage from the tower. And then you're going to see my archers and my magic archer go ham at that point. So the Rascal's up at the front doing damage. He's just trying to do a counter push, but it didn't matter at this point. It was over. So like I said, you want to use them essentially as defense and counterattack with them. And if you can use them with an offensive card too, that's a bonus. So Graveyard's actually pretty good for that because they're kind of like a mini tank as well. So great card to throw into the deck. Highly recommend it. Honestly, I'll show you the second replay, but it's more or less the same. I wasn't able to use them too much as counter as far as on the defense because I did have the P.E.K.K.A. and that generally seemed more opportune as well. So as you can tell, I use them a lot in my challenge. They're a great option to choose, and I actually chose them over the Giant quite a bit. So that for anyone who does rock a Giant deck, the Rascals are definitely a card to consider because they can act a little bit as a tank, but also act as some defense. So here I just drop a P.E.K.K.A. And then you're going to see I drop in support troops there just to help take out the tank. Fortunately, it gets a bit of damage done, but I'm still able to at least then take out the dragon and then the guards as well. So you're going to see here I'm going to be able to, again, take out the Ice Wizard and do some decent damage to the tower as well. Knock out about roughly close to 600, I guess, damage-wise. So again, I don't like using them against a low elixir card like that, but I had to because I didn't really have any choice. Drop the Goblin Barrel because I knew he used a lot of elixir. Gonna get a lot of damage there. And then we're just gonna speed this up because again, there's not too much as far as card-wise goes. We can drop the P.E.K.K.A. in. I don't use them too much in this one because they really weren't opportune for it, and the P.E.K.K.A. is pretty good as far as doing the same thing. Problem is on offense he's pretty slow, so you really got to drop in the right cards for it. And with draft it's hard to orchestrate the deck to how you want to use it. So here we're just going to stack up the elixir, see what move gets made, drop in the Rascals. Again, I don't like using them for offense on a low elixir card, so I highly recommend not doing that. It's just not effective. But on a big tank like a Giant, works great. In this case, I'm able to use the Skeleton Army as defense, drop a bit in there, and this is donezo with that Goblin Barrel. Draft challenge, all about how you pick your cards. And that's game over. And like I said, that's essentially how to use the Rascals effectively. So I'd highly consider them if you have a tank deck. You can use them that way, or if you just need a nice card that kind of acts as the defense as well, kind of like the Barbarians, but they can give you a little bit of offensive punch. Highly recommend them until there's a nerf or an update. Great card to have. Hard to get, obviously, as a new card to get them to the high level, but if you plan to put some money into it, they might be something that would be worthwhile using. Anyways, this is JAG, aka Leonidas, signing off. Thanks again. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for future videos so you're up to date. Like the video as well if you found it helpful, and also don't forget to share this to your friends. And if you have any comments, leave those below. I'll surely answer. And also, if you'd like to see any videos in the future, let me know, and I'll be sure to make those. Thanks, guys. This is Leonidas signing off.